Today we are going to do a standard review of the board game First and Goal. This is a football game, board game.
R&R Games.
Yeah, R&R Games. A couple things about it. It's a 2 to 4 player game. Really, in reality, we'll talk about it, but it's really a 2-player game. Right. I'll tell you why it's a 2-player game. It's an awesome game. It is a simulation of football in board game form, which is...
And it's very accurate, too.
Yeah, okay, so basically, it's a dice rolling game and a card playing game. That's pretty much it. There is a field. That's the board. You've got the, all the 100 yards plus the 2 end zones. One team is the home, one team is the away. And what you have is you have a deck of cards that's offensive cards, and you have a deck that's defense cards.
And these are your plays.
These are your plays. So what you're going to do, you have a hand of 8 cards, and each of you are going to pick a card. So let's say I pick a running play like a HB dive, and you pick a defensive play that's let's say it's a blitz.
Inside blitz.
Yeah, inside blitz. So based on the 2 cards that are shown and we both show them at the same time, we reveal them at the same time, there's a certain combination of dice that you get to roll that have numbers on them, higher numbers for certain plays, and some dice are used for running, some dice are used for passing. And based on the combination, if I pick the correct play or he picks the incorrect defense to play against my offense, I get to roll better dice, which makes sense, just like in football.
If he picks a passing play, but I pick a running defense, he's going to get around my defense, and he's going to get a lot of yards.
Yeah, but what's cool is like the dice that you roll this additional dice in addition to the
play
yard.
Dice, right?
Yeah, it's called a play dice, and so something can happen during the play, like a turnover might happen, or a penalty happens, or...
breaks away.
Yeah, like there's a breakaway part. So like if you roll the dice and you get this little breakaway symbol, you get to re-roll your dice and add that in addition to...
Like, he broke the defense, he's going for the 20, for the 10.
Yeah,
it's really
super
cool. It's very thematic. It's
yeah.
cool. And then the defense rolls a die too for like minus yards or whatever as well.
Yeah, and so if you play the correct... if you play the correct defense, then you get to roll less dice as an offensive player.
Right.
And basically during the game, what you're doing, you play like 2 halves, just like you do in football. So when the deck of cards runs out, that's the end of the half, and then you do the second half. But you can do things like onside kicking, which is hard to do. You have to roll a certain combination of dice, and you have to get a certain combination specifically, kind of like Yahtzee sort of, to get a successful onside kick. You can kick a field goal, or you can fake a field goal. So like when you do a kicking play, like
you did a fake punt, right?
Yeah, so it was a punt, and we both have a card underneath the table that says one side says kick and one side says fake, and we both slap it on the table at the same time. And if I say fake and he says kick, then I get some advantage to my fake punt. Or if he says fake, we both said fake, then it's a dead play and he gets the ball wherever there's a turnover on downs. So it is very thematic in football. It is football, the board game. Yeah. Like it is literally football. Now what's cool about this game too is there's a couple little things. Well, let's do the hands up.
Oh,
okay, so here's a standard review. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 2 thumbs up, okay? And by the way, thumbs up is a great game, thumbs to the side is a good game, and thumbs down is a bad game. This is a great representation of football. Now tell me why you like it, or why it's a great game.
Well, I love football.
Yes.
And like you said, I don't know anything in here that's where you're not like, that's kind of not like how you would play football.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I don't know. It's difficult to explain. It's literally a football, the board game.
Yeah.
No, it's cool too. They have expansions for like separate teams, right?
Yeah.
So they have like divisions. They have 24 expansion teams.
Yeah.
So your teams can have different advantages and stuff. But even in the base game, everything is just so thematic and it's perfect. And you could have a really good play and break out, and then you get tackled, or you can fumble the ball.
Yeah, you can turn over the ball.
Come on, yeah. And it really is kind of one of those things where it's like any given Sunday. So even when I was down, I lost, by the way, 19-10.
Yeah.
Of course, just like in Matthan. But even when I was out, like at the last, I guess there's no real minutes or seconds in the game, but toward the end of the last quarter of the game, you turned it over, right?
Yeah,
and I had a chance to do a Hail Mary, you know, and it's great, everything's perfect.
Yeah, and there's a couple little things that I really appreciate about this game. So one thing is that you have this little football that sits and it's actually a little tiny little football that goes along the field. That indicates where you're on the field. And you have this little marker that's the chains, like in football, it's 1st and 10. So it's 10 yards, and you put it on the board. Here's the cool thing, because you're rolling dice and you're touching the board. Here's a problem with a lot of games. When something's on the board and it's supposed to be in a specific exact location, when you're playing, that cube or whatever's holding the place of showing you where you're at will get moved. And
especially
you're like,
when it's a small piece and it's plastic, it's not heavy or anything.
Yeah, so it's going to move around. So what this game has is magnet. Everything's magnetic on the board,
genius,
so it snaps onto the board and doesn't move. It's awesome. Like little things like that.
I've never seen a board game have that.
Yeah, so it's incredibly well made. The cards are really nice and thick. All of the little
are nicely painted and everything. So.
Yeah, and like I said, the expansions are really cool. So you can, like, for instance, the base game that we played, it just comes with 7 team dice and then 3 play dice, and then you have all the cards. But if you buy the expansion, some teams have more passing plays, so they'll get more pass dice, or they'll have certain
depending on how their team is.
Yeah, depending on how their team is. So we naturally.
I was the Boulder Barrage. You were the Salt Lake City Shakers.
I was the Salt Lake City Shakers, which is this little. They look. Their helmet is like salt and pepper shakers.
Salt shaker, yeah.
So they even have like teams and stuff like that. So I can't recommend this enough. Actually, it's a really cool game. If you want to teach somebody football, like if your significant other doesn't like football and you want to explain to them how football is played, the actual game,
world, yeah.
This teaches you. Like when we were reading the rules, like it's telling us how to, and we're like, we know that.
You have to do 10 yards to move to the,
Yeah, and it's cool. You can go for it on 4th down, or you can punt the ball. And you can fake punt like I did. I can't speak highly enough of this. If you like football and you like board games, this is awesome. This is so cool. So definitely a thumbs up for me.
Yep, same here.
And I want to say it's probably somewhere between $25-$30 on Amazon right now. It's not very expensive.
Yeah, retail MSRP is $30.
So you probably can get it cheaper than that too.
Yep.
All right. So that is our review of First and Goal from R&R Games.